No.
Okay, so come up with a better term.
We have membership will be conferred upon.
Well,
Except you're
Well,
not
how
really
about turning the
conferring
sentence
upon
around? Those who live, work, or own property in Jordan shall be members. Or shall be eligible for membership.
No, you shall be members.
One or the other, I don't know.
I'm not sure you can make people a member without them wanting to be a member. You know what I mean? Well, you're in. What do you mean? It's like, I don't know.
As long as there are no specific responsibilities
I would
applied
have
by
a member
membership, then
organization that would have.
They don't have to. So, but the thing is, to get the proof of residency, that language in there, so we probably have to have two sentences. One of which, those who are members, or those who are residents, employment, or property owners, proof of residency needs to be provided.
May be members.
If they can prove it.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
All
all.
right, we move to section 2.
Doesn't say they are members, they may be.
Can we move to section 2?
Please.
Okay, section 2. Yeah. Section 2, voting, this is where we are on Article 2 though. Okay, voting eligibility. Members with a right to vote shall be limited to individuals who reside within the geographical boundaries and are at least 18 years of age who meet the requirements according to Minnesota Statute 317A. So you want to do it. And said, 2009, youth 15 to 17 years of age may petition the Jordan Area Community Council Board of Directors to obtain voting rights, which will be conferred upon the youth with a 2/3 majority vote of the directors, provided that the eligible voting unit does not exceed 50% of the existing voting membership on file. So, I mean, we lean heavily on 317A to keep ourselves out of the weeds. So we would have to revamp this a little bit as well, to be additive with that. So, are there amendments from the floor on the voting eligibility?
Could you read that again?
Okay. Members with a right to vote shall be limited to individuals who reside within the geographical boundaries and are at least 18 years of age, who meet the requirement according to Minnesota Statute 317A 441, 2009. So we go right back to it. Okay, youth 15 to 17 years of age may petition the Jordan Area Community Council Board of Directors to obtain voting rights, which will be conferred upon the youth with a 2/3 majority vote of the directors, provided that the eligible voting youth does not exceed 50% of the existing voting membership on file.
Okay, there's really two parts of this, and the first one appears to once again exclude a property owner or somebody that works in Jordan. So pardon me?
Feel free to.
Yes. So I would want to re-include those stakeholders and give them the ability to vote on matters that would as they come up.
So
Give them
just
voting
simply, so
privilege.
just simply add property owners and employees within Jordan.
That's
At
true.
the beginning of the sentence before they start defining residence.
Yeah, and one thing that Megan mentioned in her suggested wording that I think needs to be included whenever we're talking about employees is employees of businesses in Jordan, because you may not know if there are an awful lot of people living in the neighborhood who work at home, who work for businesses downtown and other places, and that should not confer eligibility. I mean, they're working in Jordan. They may be residents in Jordan, but it should be their residency that confers or
Membership.
means they're a member, and not the fact that they're working.
Yeah,
So,
I'm right along with that.
Well, but isn't it a moot point if they're living in Jordan already?
well, if they're living in Jordan, yeah, it is kind of a moot point, but there are people who have home offices that they share with people who don't live in the neighborhood,
Well, the business is not based in Jordan.
not necessarily working for a business that's in Jordan. Just because
So
that was the easiest place to set it up.
The section 2 on voting eligibility needs to include the phrase property owner.
And
A person who has an office in Jordan should be eligible.
An employee.
And those who work at a business in Georgia.
I think since we
Qualified.
hashed out membership in section 1, that we should be able to just
That's
say
true.
voting members are members eligible according to section 1 and 18 years old with the rest of it or something.
That's actually, you all agree with that?
Say that again.
That we actually don't need to define again that it's residents, property owners, and
Voting
employees.
members
We
are,
simply say at the beginning,
Voting members as
Yeah.
defined in
as
section
defined
1.
by section 1.
If you do, yeah, if you do it that way, that's fine. I think
That's
a lot
easier,
clearer.
and we can get through it quicker. We've already defined the property owners in our first amendment, well, if the amendment's passed. But the main amendment is, I mean, you can't just keep making the same amendment, here's this section, I want this same amendment that I made in section 1, section 2, section 3. Just do the one amendment, and
then
simply
apply it
state,
as
and
you go
then
down.
simply state anytime membership comes up, see section 1, you only have to do the amendment once, then please add.
As long as it's not stated, if it's stated that residents have a right to vote, then that would have to be changed.
Well, no, it wouldn't.
If one were to
That's-
allow others to vote.
That's the amendment. We simply change the verbiage to qualified members' voting rights, and qualified members as defined by section 1.
Sure.
Therefore, it's only one amendment to, please include this, please include this. The amendment is, change the verbiage to see section 1.
I'll let you start taking pretty soon.
Is that acceptable?
Yeah. As long as that existing amendment verbiage is stricken that states a restriction.
Well, that's the first amendment. If that one passes first, then everything else follows through with it. Because otherwise, you see in section 2, and you have to make that same amendment.
Well, Dottie mentioned